Pandora opened the fateful box, and the world changed in a single breath. Shadows spilled out like living nightmares, curling through the air with shrieks that tore the silence apart. They twisted, spiraled, fragmented. 100 forms of suffering awakening all at once. The earth quivered beneath them. Mountains echoed with hollow groans. Human hearts withered under calamities they had never imagined. But if you believe that moment was where tragedy began, you're looking at the wrong page of history. What unlocked this chain of catastrophes was an act far older. A spark of defiance bright enough to challenge Olympus itself. A betrayal that Zeus, king of the gods, could neither overlook nor ever forgive. Today, we descend into that story. The judgment of Prometheus. A tale stitched together with agony, rebellion, and a fire that refused to die. In the dawn of the world, humans walked like fragile ghosts across a merciless land. They had no language with which to dream, no tools with which to build, no warm roofs to shield them from the night. When darkness fell, it swallowed them whole. Cold was not an inconvenience. It was a predator. Darkness was not a blanket. It was a void that erased all sound. Beasts were not animals. They were storms of claws and hunger. Prometheus watched them from afar, watched their trembling frames, their silent suffering, their stubborn, flickering will to live. Something in him, something ancient, something tender, began to ache. He was a titan, a being born from the bones of the old world. Humanity owed him nothing. He owed them even less. Yet he felt drawn to them, as though some unspoken truth connected their destinies. One winter night, as snow drifted like silent ash, Prometheus saw a mother huddled against a cave wall. Her child lay limp against her chest, skin pale, breaths faint. She pressed a torn animal hide over him, shivering violently herself but refusing to let go. The wind screamed across the stone. The mother's tears froze before they could fall. That sight pierced Prometheus deeper than any blade could. If divinity means anything, he thought, it must mean protecting the life that struggles hardest to survive. How long will they endure this cruelty? How many more children must freeze in the dark? But Zeus's decree was absolute. Fire belonged only to gods. Mortals would never wield it. Prometheus's silence deepened. A silence so heavy the mountains seemed to stop breathing with him. After a long, unmoving stillness, he opened his eyes, and in them burned a decision that would rattle the cosmos. That night, Olympus slept beneath a sky washed in moonlight. The temples gleamed faintly, marble pillars glowing like phantoms in the quiet. Prometheus cloaked himself in gray, a color that swallowed light, a color even shadows could not follow. Moving with the stillness of a forgotten ghost, he slipped past the sleeping sentinels of Olympus, past gods slumbering in their golden halls, past fountains whose waters glimmered with starlight. At the end of a long colonnade stood the Hall of Sacred Fire. Its doors towered over him, carved with swirling runes older than the sky itself. Each symbol shimmered like embers frozen in stone. To the gods, this hall was the heart of divine power. To Prometheus, it was a prison, locking away the one thing that could save humanity. He pressed his palm against the cold surface. The runes flared in recognition, and the massive doors eased open. Inside, silence reigned. At the center of the chamber danced the divine flame, alive, breathing, pulsing in red-gold rhythms. The fire twisted gracefully, as if sensing the presence of another will. Prometheus stepped closer. Heat shimmered across his face, yet it was not a painful heat. It was warmth, pure and gentle, like the first sunrise on a new world. For a heartbeat, the flame hovered, as though weighing his intention. Then he reached out. The divine fire folded around his fingers, like a knowing companion, not burning, but accepting. I don't steal you for myself, he whispered. I steal you for the world waiting to be born. With the flame cupped in his hand, he slipped out of the hall. No alarms, no divine outrage, no thunder rolling behind him. But the universe felt the tremor he left in his wake. When Prometheus returned to humanity, the cave dwellers recoiled at first. A glowing fire dancing in a titan's palm was a sight too holy to approach. But warmth reached them before courage did. A trembling hunter stepped forward. Prometheus lowered the flame toward him. Fear warred with wonder in the man's eyes. But in the end, wonder won. The moment his hands touched the fire, the darkness recoiled, and humanity felt hope take its first breath. The flame devoured the night, melted the cold, and carved courage into their hearts. From that tiny spark, they learned to cook, to forge, to build, to dream. Civilization began with that stolen ember. And high above, Zeus saw everything. From the heights of Olympus, Zeus gazed across the world. The night should have been dark, pitch black, silent, obedient. But now, tiny fires glittered across the earth, like stars fallen onto the land. His fire, his forbidden flame. Zeus's jaw tightened. His hand closed around a bolt of lightning that pulsed with his fury. Prometheus, he whispered, thunder curling beneath the syllables. You dare. He was not hurt. He was not betrayed. He was challenged. And to Zeus, challenge was treason. Storm clouds massed instantly around Olympus. Winds shrieked. Thunder crawled along the horizon. Bring Prometheus to me, Zeus commanded. His voice cracked the sky. Prometheus stood tall in the great hall of gods, unbound, unbowed. Yet there was a calmness in him that unsettled even the immortal witnesses. Zeus towered above from his throne, a storm made flesh. Zeus, you gave humans fire. Prometheus, I gave them a chance at survival. Zeus, you upset the balance. Prometheus, or revealed the injustice beneath it. Zeus, you crossed the boundary of gods. Prometheus, a boundary drawn out of fear, not wisdom. The hall fell still. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. Prometheus stepped forward, his voice steady, unwavering. You allow them to suffer in darkness, while they carry within them, however faint, the spark of something more. What I gave them was not rebellion. It was hope. Zeus felt a flicker, not of doubt, but of irritation. That truth had dared enter his hall. The thunder inside him erupted. You have defied Olympus. And for that defiance, your suffering will be eternal. Prometheus knew then that he wasn't being punished for wrongdoing, but for daring to believe humanity deserved a future. And still, he did not bend. Two wind gods seized him, binding his wrists and ankles with chains forged from the will of Olympus. They dragged him across continents, over roaring oceans, through storms that clawed at the heavens, past peaks sharp enough to split the sky. Yet not once did he plead. They reached Mount Caucasus, a lonely summit that scraped the belly of the clouds. There Zeus raised his hand. The mountain groaned. Stone cracked open like an injured beast. From the depths crawled living chains, serpents of gleaming metal, hissing with divine command. They wrapped around Prometheus's limbs, his torso, his throat, pulling him against the unforgiving rock. The air thinned. His breaths grew ragged. Yet his eyes remained fixed on the horizon, on the distant flicker of human firelight. With the last free breath in his body, he said, "You may shackle my flesh, but the future has already ignited, and you cannot extinguish it." The sky dimmed. A colossal eagle descended from the clouds, its wings casting an eclipse over the mountain peak. This was no creature of nature. It was Zeus's wrath-given form, a predator carved for one purpose: punishment. Its talons crushed the stone as it approached. Prometheus lifted his chin, meeting its empty gaze. The first strike came suddenly, the eagle's beak plunging deep into his side, ripping into his liver. Pain detonated through his body, shattering, searing. A lightning bolt of agony. Blood streaked down the rock in crimson rivers. His body convulsed, muscles tearing from the strain. But he did not scream. Night restored what morning took. Each dawn the eagle returned. Merciless, mechanical, inevitable. Days bled into years. Years blurred into centuries. Pain became a companion. Suffering a rhythm. This was Zeus's eternal sentence. High above, Zeus looked down at the world. Prometheus was punished. But humanity's fires still burned. Brighter now. Stronger. Alive. Hope had rooted itself in the world. And that, more than Prometheus's defiance, unnerved Zeus. For even the king of gods could not predict what humans would become, now that they held a flame of their own. From that unease came a new plan: the crafting of Pandora's box, a vessel destined to unleash agony on mankind. As for the flood that followed, that is another chapter. Back on Mount Caucasus, winds wailed across the stone. The eagle's shadow passed once more over Prometheus's scarred form. Yet his eyes, steady, fierce, unbroken, still shone with the stubborn glow of defiance. And in the roaring storm, he whispered, "As long as humans can kindle fire, I have not lost."